What's going on, everybody? Midwest Gatherer here with you today to talk about the American pawpaw, Latin name Asimina triloba. It is the largest native fruit to North America. It's a member of the custard apple family, which is generally a group of tropical fruit trees. So we're going to go over today kind of what these fruit look like, when they're ready, and so forth. It's mid-September. 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm starting to get a little hungry for lunch, so we're going to go ahead and pick a few of these off, and I'm going to show you how to open them and eat them. So come with me. Let's go look at some pawpaws. All right, here are the leaves of the American pawpaw. You can see if I put my hand up next to them, these leaves are quite large and tropical looking compared to many of the trees you're going to find in a Midwestern forest. As we look at these leaves, they are longer than they are wide. They are more narrow as we get closer to the stem, and they widen as the leaf gets further from the stem. If you are to crush these leaves, they kind of smell like motor oil, and that's because of a compound in them that actually prevents a lot of bugs from being able to eat them. Pawpaw trees are relatively short in stature. This one is still quite young. They will get another 15 feet taller than this, maybe, at maximum height. They prefer to be in the shade, especially when they're young. If they're out in direct sunlight, it'll burn the leaves and kill the tree. As they start to get older, ironically, they need the sun to produce more fruit as well as full-size fruit. So they really like being along areas where the woods meets a field, or the woods meets a grassland or something like that, where when they're young, they can start out inside of the understory of the forest and slowly grow and emerge out of it where they're able to get direct sunlight, which is kind of where we're at right now. Pawpaws range in size from very small, maybe this large, to rather big, something more like this, or as you can maybe see here, something about this size. Now this one here is starting to ripen. It is getting soft to the touch. It is quite pliable. So we're going to go ahead and pick that one off and see if it just kind of broke off very easily. Now the way to eat pawpaws, in my opinion, is to eat them fresh. There are some recipes you'll find where people cook these into breads and stuff. You need to be careful with that. There are compounds inside of here that cause gastrointestinal upset, and when they're cooked, it converts, I guess, more of it into that chemical, which can cause stomach upset for some people. My parents experienced this the hard way. So my recommendation would be to eat these raw, and in my opinion, that's when they're best. They're super sweet as they are. They don't need anything else. They're delicious. Just enjoy them right off the tree. So we're going to go ahead and cut one here. I'll cut it long way so we can kind of take a look inside. Alright, we've cut all the way around. Put the knife away. And we'll see if we can open it up. Nice and easy. There is the inside of the pawpaw. If you smell it, it smells tropical. I wouldn't say this particular one has any real distinctive flavor. Maybe a little bit of banana. And that's the thing about these pawpaws, is every tree is going to have a slightly different flavor when the fruit ripens. And also the fruit's going to gain more flavor the longer it ripens before it falls. The softer it gets, generally, the sweeter and more aromatic it is. This one is still relatively firm, and as such, lacks a little bit of the flavor development that sometimes I like to enjoy. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and eat this. You do not want to eat the skin. You do not want to eat these big black seeds. You just want to eat the flesh on the inside. I'll show you real quick. I don't know if you can see the seeds. They stay kind of covered in a gelatinous substance, and I'll go ahead and throw these into the woods so that maybe they'll grow next year. And I'll probably save a few and try to plant them closer to my house. This one is pretty good. Some of them off this tree have been a little too custardy, almost with like little pieces that kind of have the texture of egg. But this one's a lot more soft and Really good flavor. Pretty mild. Not, some of them taste more like mango or pineapple. I would say this one is sweet with very subtle hints of tropical fruit kind of in the back after you've swallowed it, but very good pawpaw. Now, pawpaws are kind of a important species for the, I think it's the zebra swallowtail butterfly. The caterpillars use pawpaws as a host plant, and so they are the sole food source for the zebra swallowtail pupa, larva, whatever, the caterpillars. And so they do kind of hold an important place in the ecosystem. The fruits that fall are gobbled up by possums and coons and all sorts of different animals. So they are a favorite of the forest animals. And if you try them, they'll probably be a favorite of yours. They are maybe my favorite fruit, at least top 5. Ooh, a little bit of vanilla. That's a good one. If you want to look for Ohio's tropical fruit, the American pawpaw, you're going to want to find rather developed woodlands that are near water, as pawpaws do enjoy having their roots pretty wet. So find an area where there's a pond, a river, or just a well-shaded place, and start looking for those big tropical-looking leaves. There are a few trees that could resemble the pawpaw. They generally have smaller leaves, but things like hickory trees, for instance, may have leaves that could be confused with the pawpaw. Sometimes a buckeye from a distance may look like a pawpaw, although this time of year, buckeyes and horse chestnuts are losing their leaves for the most part. So if you can find these nice dark leaves with little or big fruits hanging from them, you've probably found the American pawpaw. Again, crush the leaves. If it smells kind of like motor oil, you've got the right tree. Start shaking it and looking around to see if you can find any pawpaws. Another name for the pawpaw that is commonly used is the Kentucky banana. And when you see a cluster like this, you can tell why they may call them the Kentucky banana. They definitely can grow in groups that resemble banana clusters, and the flavor can be somewhat similar. But here is a pretty common way I'll see them growing in groups like this, so maybe another way to look for pawpaws. They don't always grow solitary. Sometimes when you can't reach the fruit, you give the tree a shake, the ripe fruit will fall. Just don't shake too hard or you'll accidentally shake unripe fruit from the tree. Still a little early for this grove, so I'm gonna meander around through this woods and pick some more pawpaws for breakfast. Thanks for joining me today as we look for the American pawpaw and enjoy some of its fruit. I highly recommend you get out in the woods and look for pawpaws, and you probably have until the end of September to do so. So I highly recommend getting outside and looking for these delicious fruit. Oh, wait a minute, that might be ripe. Yes, it is. Haha. I'll see you in the next one.